You're very welcome back to the Daily Rundown. I've been rejoined by Mike and Polly because it's now time for something to say. And this is the part of the show where the guests get to get something off their chest and share a wild and burning passion about something with us. Who's going first?
Ladies first.
Of course.
Okay, it was actually something you kind of picked up.
Was it?
Yeah, in the section where we were talking about drones and this idea of drones replacing people in tasks.
Right.
And I kind of got interested in thinking about this in relation to, I think, to tell the story in a slightly roundabout way, there was a video that went around Facebook, or at least my Facebook, after Brexit that was trying to change people's perceptions a little bit of who had actually voted to leave. And it was shot in an ex-mining town and kind of really told the stories of people who, where the industry was just decimated. There was nothing there. And the woman who was kind of leading the camera crew around the town was talking about how the rate of suicide was really, really high. And I kind of started thinking, well, are we going to see a second wave of kind of decimated workforce through technology? We've got, really early examples of this, things like supermarket checkouts now, self-checkouts. Shopping is done online, so high street stores are closing down, and then these kind of the drone idea and the way in which that might change the postal service, and I was just kind of thinking about what that might mean for the UK and what's kind of to be done, because I feel relatively progressive in how I think about technology, and I'm not against sort of development for forward and towards the future, but I do think it's something that we sort of need to think about and maybe a little bit preemptively think about.
There's loads of it seems like we've got another example every week. Obviously drones is the newest one. The checkout tills, because that was one that I think we didn't read, because we're so used to those ones now, we wouldn't necessarily think that comes under that same thinking too, because it's just so familiar to us now. But of course that would have been one of the early ones. There's still some people who don't like to go to those tills though, who don't like to do their own checkout. Do you not do it? Yeah.
Because there's always a guy wandering around. It's like, well, you could just serve me, and I couldn't be here screaming at the machine for 5 minutes.
I really like them when I'm in a bad mood, and I don't want to put that into somebody else's life. I just want to stand there and stack my stuff and be angry.
Yeah, it's good when you're hungover and you want to be antisocial. You don't want to speak to anyone.
I don't want to be unpleasant to somebody, and I think I probably I try to rarely be so, but
this is interesting though, but because there was a news story yesterday as well about a robotic masseuse, like massaging, in Singapore, right? And the name of it was Emma, which means expert manipulative massage automation.
Well, Emma's definitely catchier than that.
So it's everywhere, and apparently it's better than a trained masseuse.
How can it be? Surely it looks like that's Terminator with big big metally spindly fingers.
No, because it will be developed and there will be ways in which the pressure of the hands will respond to the body and that person's particular the way in which they like things. This tech, like I was looking at there's a new farm bot that will plant and maintain an allotment patch which can feed a person for a year. So it's kind of pre-programmable. You can decide what crops you want to grow and set it off. You can have it outside. It weathers well, and it waters each of the plants according to what genus, I guess they are, and gives them the exact treatment that they need in a way that only a very experienced or knowledgeable gardener might be able to do. Right. I mean, it's kind of problematic as a bit of technology, but I think it's sort of interesting. I think the thing that struck me about this idea though was I kind of ended up reading a report around this. I think it was published back in 2015, which is only last year. It feels like a very long time ago.
A lot happened this year.
All those months ago.
That's why it seems so long ago.
But it was the Bank of England's chief economist, Andy Haldane, who was talking about he claimed that there are 15 million jobs in the UK at risk of automation, and the point that he made, which was the thing that kind of struck me, was that those at risk from automation tend to be people on average who have the lowest wage. So again, it's this kind of undercutting of
constantly.
Yeah, and I just again think that that's problematic, and we need to be looking, because I was thinking about looping back to the kind of town that was being looked at post Brexit. You know, what do you do? How do you replace an industry that's kind of been gutted out from a town? And I was sort of thinking, well, could you invest in making that into a technology centre where you train people there into being at the cutting edge of the industry, or being very technologically adept? Obviously that takes investment, and I'm not trying to simplify, but it just feels like these things need to be sort of foreseen a little bit more.
No, definitely. That's a really good subject to bring in. As I was saying earlier on, though, my biggest fear is just the self-awareness of the technology.
Is it
going to... We got one of those vacuum cleaners, you know, those little...
The ones that move on their own? Really?
I sent it back.
Did it scare you that much?
It came like his name was Bebo or something, I don't even know. And I woke up one night at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was like, what's that noise? Stupid vacuum cleaner going around cleaning.
On its own? What, had you set it? It just...
Yeah, I think my husband had set it.
Right. It wasn't just possessed.
It just had stayed in the house. But she's left it in bits. No, but I get up in the house, it's really clean.
Did you wake
dismantle it? Like, no.
Did you wake up in the night and it was just next to you? Just like, why is the house so clean?
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I'm not precious about someone doing my cleaning at all. Because you know the way some people don't like that.
You can see its little screen, just like the words "I will cleanse you."
Honestly, I didn't.
I love you.
No, yeah. One day I'll be like, one day he again. So he'll be going around on his own. He'll be going around on his own doing stuff that I didn't tell him to do. So back he went to Amazon actually. But not by drone. Not by drone.
Amazon.
Yeah.
These robots coming over and stealing our jobs.
And massaging us.
Yeah,
massaging us now. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's
scared about that. Anyway, what's next? We'll talk about it when it happens, I'm sure. Thanks very much for that, Polly. Mike, you've got something to say this evening as well, have you?
Very different this evening.
Yeah, this is very much about humans. Very much so. This big... It's exploded on Twitter today, and a lot of people watched a TV program last night. It was a new dating program. We know dating programs are big deals these days. You had a Blind Date back in the day, and Take Me Out, Paddy McGuinness's show. That's massive these days. And the next big one, it was on Channel 4 last night. It's called Naked Attraction. So obviously you turn on, you think, oh, it's just another dating show. That's a bit of a weird title. It can't be. And that's what it is. It's naked people basically dating, and they get a contestant. They get I'm worried about what I'm doing about my hands here. Yes, I don't know, but you need to watch the program. But yeah, so they've got this contestant, and there's like these. It's a bit like Take Me Out in the way but there's like these 6 like cubicles, and there's people in those cubicles that are naked, and then the door of the cubicles slowly go up, and then first up. So the first thing you see is the legs and the stuff.
So it goes up that high.
Yes.
And
so that's the first. That's like the first round of, and then
like fully naked.
Yeah.
See waist down.
Naked.
Yeah.
And then the person has to eliminate. Then they eliminate one of them.
So you basically base it on.
Yeah. And so it's about basic. So it's kind of basing it on on body shape and
you can't get away from the hand gestures with this subject, can you? Though?
But so so
sit on my hand.
The presenter Anna Richardson, she's talking about how this is how you'd see people real. You know what I mean? Like you see them without the clothes on, and then the next day, and then they send them on a date where they got clothes on.
With their clothes on.
And then they interview them a month later.
There's a whole selection process, isn't there? Where so you see kind of from the waist down, and then you select, and then you see the whole body.
Yeah, it goes up. And
then
you see the torso, then you see the whole thing, and then they speak.
But then at a certain stage, the person who's choosing also has to get naked.
When she's down to like 2 people, she eliminates them as the little rounds go on, and then she's left with like 2 people. Then she comes back naked. They say, "Oh, she looked good," but no, seriously. The first round, the first guy, one of the guys, had an elephant tattoo around here, and
Oh,
the
Not
rest.
pretending it's not him. I mean, I suppose he's going to show his face anyway. Like, so
But he also had a robot leg, actually.
Really?
Well, not a robot leg, but he
had
had
a
a false
prosthetic.
leg. Yeah. So I mean, there was all these kind of legs, and then there was the one that stood out was the metal leg and the elephant tattoo. He said he regretted that.
Sorry, I
when he
just got
asked
the
him.
elephant one. I'm too innocent for the
But it was,
world.
and there was a lady on there
Seriously.
after that who had men and women all behind the cubicles, so she could choose because she was
bisexual.
yeah, I wasn't going to say greedy, bisexual. This is a joke.
no,
I'm joking. But like, yeah, so she's bisexual. She had men and women, and I think she whittled it down to 2 women in the end. But and then,
Purely based on the physicalities.
yeah, I mean they were quite.
have a
This is the
small
world we're in now, isn't it?
They were,
conversation.
they were being. I mean, they were being quite kind of sensitive about it. They weren't completely focusing on sizes and things. A lot of it was focused on like stance, the way they were standing. Or
Yeah.
and some of them stand a bit meek and that kind of, And there was
like
there was a
confident
guy
person.
but there was a really confident guy that once the whole thing came up, he was just kind of dancing around a bit and like shaking it out, and she got rid of him because of that.
Now, what is going on here? Like, because is this just entertainment? Because these people they can't be thinking they're going to go on and meet someone and have a relationship and then tell people that's how they met and they got married and they had kids, and not that they have to do all those traditional things, but
of course the coverage of this is talking about how actually a number of the couples have gone on and are still dating.
Yeah.
They like emphasising that side of it.
is this though? I'm interested to know, are they what are most of their professions? Or are they all like models and
all
aspiring?
different.
No.
I mean,
They're
I think they have to be very conscious
yeah.
to make sure they get different shapes and all sorts of.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean from that point of view. What I meant was I meant fame hungry.
Well, not.
Are they
No, because they're not really on.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't really on TV for that long, and it kind of. I don't know.
Well, I was really interested by the idea that I think we're becoming more and more okay with the idea that we could be seen naked either online or on TV or whatever, and that's just kind of accepted now. That there's less of this fear around how will this come back to bite me kind of thing, professionally,
naked
whatever.
bum.
Yeah, and the thing I really liked about it, there was a couple of things I did like about it. I think was the fact that there was a quite an open idea about like your sexuality. So it was just quite straightforwardly. This woman liked both men and women, and she kind of went through her own process with that. And also that the comments were all very sensitive, actually, and very. One of the women described one of the other women as having a kind of Botticelli figure, which was really lovely.
Which is nice. It's nice to see sort of positive image as well. We're just going to go for a quick break, but we can talk about this on the ad. I'm probably going to come back to it as well. This is our last break of the evening, so make sure you come back and catch the and finalies, which are coming up very soon.